What's the dumbest thing you had to explain to someone? I was a primary care physician, and I had to explain a lot of basic vagina stuff to women. Those yogurts help balance your vaginal bacteria by you eating them, not using them inside your vag like some kind of paste. Yes ma'am, you can get pregnant in a hot tub. Yes ma'am, you can get pregnant if you're on top. Yes ma'am, you can get pregnant if he pulls out. And the douches. Women become mad scientists when it comes to banishing their pussy smell. I have seen the most horrifying concoctions ever created being used as douches. Bleach douches, vinegar and lemon douches, red wine douches, toothpaste douches, unreal shit. And of course I always had to navigate the ones who got angry at me mansplaining their bodies to them. Well bitch, you just admitted to using an industrial cleaner to wash out your vag. You need me. If I'm entirely honest, it didn't happen to me, but it did happen to my wife. She used to work for a Sky call center and had a call that the internet wasn't working. They had just put the cardboard box next to the phone socket and thought, because it was wireless, it would work. I work in it, and a lady got married over the weekend. I didn't know or care. She called me that Monday and told me she could not log into her account. I pulled up her info and said, well, you aren't locked out. What username are you using? She gave me her first initial and a new last name. I said that's not your account, where she proceeded to tell me how she got married etc. Bitch literally thought that when she got married all her accounts ever associated with her name changed. Lots of stuff regarding working/parent support. When I was 18, I was on my own. Most of my friends lived with their parents and didn't understand why I wasn't fun anymore. No, I can't just ditch work to come to a party. No, that card your parents gave you isn't a magic pass for free gas. They are paying for it. No, I don't want to have a party at my house. Yes, I know that I don't have parents to worry about. Yes, I work full time, but no, I don't have like tons of money to buy whatever I want. I have bills to pay. I go to a university that has a reputation for having wealthy students. I'm not one of those wealthy students, LMAO. I have had so many familiar conversations with people aged 18, 24 that blow my goddamn mind. Why do you work so much? Because I have tuition, rent, and groceries to pay for. Why can't you just call in sick? Come out with us tonight. Because it's an hour before I'm scheduled to start. I can't text my boss 45 minutes before work. But by far the worst conversation I've ever had at university came when I was in my second year looking for an apartment. I was talking to an acquaintance and he suggested I get an apartment at a very expensive luxury complex close to the school. I said nah, that's way out of my budget, can't afford that. This 21-year-old man replied with, yeah but your parents pay your rent right? Like they pay for your essentials? Or else how could you pay for stuff? I work at a pizzeria in a place known about dinosaurs fossils discoveries. Where I work we have a real bone of a dinosaur in a glass floor. One day, a couple walked in and were looking at the bone when the lady reached out to me asking if it was real. I said it was, and then she looked at her husband and asked if they still existed. Well, it was a fun conversation. My father is an MD and the amount of people who he needed to politely ask to find another doctor since the rise of social media is mind-boggling. They are relying on Google and mom groups on Facebook for actual medical advice, and then come and waste his time arguing about their findings. He doesn't entertain it for a minute anymore. Anti-vaxxers are the worst, though. Luckily we live in a country where you cannot give a kid into any kind of public school until they're up to date with their vaccines. I worked for the Dept of Vital Statistics for a year and a half and have handled 100 to 150,000 birth, death, marriage, and divorce certificates in my life. I'm an industry expert in this bullshit field. Birthers pissed me off to no end with their bullshit. A short form is just as valid as a long form. Second, everyone only gets a certified copy of the birth certificate. The original is the property of the state. They keep it sealed in a vault so they can issue you another certified copy when you lose yours. Third, The paper with your footprint and gold sticker and doctor's signature isn't a birth certificate, it's just a memento. 4th. President Obama spent $0 hiding his birth certificate from the general public. Birth certificates are secured from everyone, by the state, free of charge. To that point, birth certificates are not public record. You can't randomly order mine. I can't randomly order yours. You also can't randomly order the president's, even though he's the president. I once had to explain to a colleague that she did not have to print and file every single email she received. She claimed she was concerned about making sure we had written records in case the computer stopped working. She was almost 70 when I told this to her, and she had been doing it her whole career, since email was introduced. Literally every single email got printed. If there was an addition to an ongoing thread, she would print the whole damn thread again for every new email. I'm pretty sure this woman is responsible for at least one entire forest of tree loss. Nobody thought it was weird that her department was spending the most on toner and paper. She was also head of the department, so maybe her subordinates were scared to say anything. Okay, this is going to sound unbelievable, but I swear it happened. I have no clue about how school systems work outside my country, but I was around 17 to 18, so go figure. We were in drawing class in an art specialized school. It was around the first half of the first year, and they had just taught us about perspective, vanishing points, etc. So the first exercises were to draw several cubes and shapes seen from different points of view, and escalated until we had to draw a fully detailed city. So here I am, drawing my city, adding details. Trees, benches, people, clouds, a fucking sun. And a classmate comes and sits next to me and looks at my picture and asks me in all seriousness, I shit you not, why are there street lights in my drawing? She was not fucking kidding. It took me a while to react. I just stared at her until I was able to find something to say. I asked her, probably in the deepest state of confusion I may have experienced in my whole life, what in the name of heavens did she mean with that question? She kept asking, in her own genuine confusion, why would the picture need any street lights if there was already a sun? I told her they were not on. It's a city. It'll eventually get dark. But she didn't seem to get that. She said it was just a drawing, the sun is static, it's not going anywhere. Why would there be any need for street lights? I've played with the idea that she was just fucking with me, but I know her, and I don't really believe she was. Oh my god, sorry if this came out too confusing, but that's how it was for me. I still have a hard time comprehending what the hell went on. Many years ago I worked for a local internet provider's dial-up and eventually DSL support. The amount of stupidity that job provided was massive, though most of the time it was pretty funny, such as the time some old man called in about 5:30 AM in the morning, obviously drunkish, and hedging around not being able to access his porn, who fell asleep. I put him on speaker as it was fairly slow at that point in the morning, and we listened to him snort for a good 10 minutes on speakerphone before I hung up on him. The worst dumbest client ever was the lady who could not at all in any way type out her username, which was just her first and last name. I had to try to walk her through where the letters were. Okay Mary, type M. M is in the lower right hand side of your keyboard, just about the space bar. Okay, you see a M. Great. Next type A. A is on the far left side of the keyboard. Okay, you see MA on the screen. Perfect. Now R, the R is on the row right below the numbers and is in the middle left of the keyboard. Okay, what do you see now? Mary, I see. Asterisk BANGS head on desk. This literally went on for near 10 minutes with all sorts of horrible mistakes, the worst being her forgetting where the letter or letters she just typed 30 seconds ago is, and her inability to just delete one character before she got very frustrated, said she would just make her kids do this, and hung up on me. Lots of stuff regarding working/parents support. When I was 18, I was on my own. Most of my friends lived with their parents and didn't understand why I wasn't fun anymore. No, I can't just ditch work to come to a party. No, that card your parents gave you isn't a magic pass for free gas. They are paying for it. No, I don't want to have a party at my house. Yes, I know that I don't have parents to worry about. Yes, I work full time, but no, I don't have like tons of money to buy whatever I want. I have bills to pay. I go to a university that has a reputation for having wealthy students. I'm not one of those wealthy students, Mayo. I have had so many familiar conversations with people aged 18, 24 that blow my goddamn mind. Why do you work so much? Because I have tuition, rent, and groceries to pay for. Why can't you just call in sick? Come out with us tonight. Because it's an hour before I'm scheduled to start. I can't text my boss 45 minutes before work. But by far the worst conversation I've ever had at university came when I was in my second year looking for an apartment. I was talking to an acquaintance and he suggested I get an apartment at a very expensive luxury complex close to the school. I said nah, that's way out of my budget, can't afford that. This 21-year-old man replied with, yeah, but your parents pay your rent, right? Like they pay for your essentials? Or else how could you pay for stuff